Every thought you have is a battlefield. From the moment you wake, unseen generals maneuver around your attention, shaping desires and decisions without consent. Every conversation, every headline, every trending post is an artillery strike aimed at the mind you assume is yours. Awareness is the first weapon. Recognize that influence is constant, subtle, and strategic. Treat your own attention as territory to defend, your focus as a garrison to command. Every distraction left unchecked is an enemy siege that chips away at sovereignty. Media, peer pressure, and societal norms are not benign suggestions. They are missiles designed to redirect behavior. A comment meant as casual advice may be a probing reconnaissance mission. A trending story can shift beliefs overnight. Learn to spot the origin of these attacks, trace them to their source, and assess their true impact before reacting. Pause, observe, and resist the instinct to respond reflexively. In many cases, the enemy counts on haste, on distraction, on mindless compliance. Your defense begins with recognition. Indecision and passivity are the gates left open to invaders. Without conscious discipline, influence seeps into your actions, silently dictating your priorities. Your autonomy is a fortress. Every lapse in awareness is a breach. Guard the perimeter of thought. Structure your day with intentionality. Assign your attention deliberately and refuse unsolicited incursions. Every small surrender compounds, eroding freedom and power. Even in disagreement, calm authority preserves the battlefield. When someone challenges your perspective in a meeting, respond with measured logic rather than reflexive defense. Demonstrate control through presence, not volume. Weak, arguing to win. Strong, observing, countering with precision, maintaining command of attention. This micro-example of disciplined engagement illustrates how sovereignty extends beyond solitary moments into interactions with others. Every decision left unchecked is a silent victory for external forces. Signals you ignore become strategies deployed against you. Every media cycle, every social prompt is a move in a war whose terrain is your mind. Identify, intercept, and neutralize them before they shape your behavior. This vigilance transforms the battlefield into a controlled zone, a throne room where you are an undisputed ruler. Command your inner generals. Dictate priorities. Enforce boundaries. Every day, conduct a survey of influence in your life. Recognize where consent has been ceded unintentionally. Reclaim control in moments both trivial and pivotal. Let observation replace reaction, strategy replace impulse, and awareness replace complacency. Treat attention as currency, expenditure as intentional, and influence as territory to govern. From distractions to subtle persuasion, every external force is a potential invader. Fortify mental walls with disciplined routines, deliberate focus, and calculated response. The cost of negligence is autonomy. The reward for vigilance is freedom. Establish clear rules of engagement within your own mind and execute them relentlessly. Awareness, anticipation, and disciplined action are your armor. Your sovereignty demands respect, first from yourself, then from the world. Recognize the generals, anticipate the attacks, and reinforce the walls. Every trivial choice is a skirmish, every interaction a tactical maneuver. The battlefield within is vast, but every inch reclaimed strengthens dominion. Internalize this principle. Vigilance is power. Observation is command. Discipline is strategy. Influence may be constant, but submission is optional. Your mind is a throne, your attention the scepter, your decisions the crown. Every action you take reinforces or erodes it. Guard it. Enfo. It. Reclaim it. I endure, I command, I am unshakable. Every mind is a throne, and you are either the ruler or the ruled. From the first moment you awaken, the battleground of thought unfolds. Each decision, each emotion, each fleeting desire is a soldier waiting for orders. If you fail to command them, They will follow invaders, external influences, subtle manipulations, and unconscious impulses into your kingdom. Establishing authority over your own mind is the first victory in a war that otherwise belongs to those who wish to shape you. Discipline is not optional. It is the armor that allows you to endure the endless siege of external pressures. Your throne room must be organized. Thoughts are not chaotic whispers, but soldiers in formation. Align them with purpose. Train them to respond to reason and reflection, rather than reflex and distraction. Every fleeting impulse is an unsent letter from the enemy. Intercept it, assess its origin, and decide whether it deserves attention. Failure to marshal your mental army allows chaos to infiltrate, decisions to fracture, and influence to claim victories unnoticed. Command your soldiers with clarity. Decide which thoughts advance your agenda and which betray your sovereignty. Guarding the gates is your next imperative. Awareness is the most that separates your internal kingdom from the relentless currents of persuasion and influence. Social media, colleagues, advertisements, and even well-meaning acquaintances often act as invaders, probing for weak points. Notice their approaches, detect subtle manipulation before it reaches your inner walls, and maintain boundaries that are respected without aggression. In a meeting, when a colleague attempts to sway your reasoning with urgency or fear, respond with measured logic. Weak, reacting with defensiveness. Strong, acknowledging the claim, assessing evidence, and reinforcing your own position calmly. This micro-example demonstrates control under pressure, transforming potential chaos into a display source of command. The crown of sovereignty is worn through relentless practice, not through occasional reflection. Power begins within. Every lapse of attention or unchecked influence is a crack in the foundation of authority. Reclaiming it requires daily discipline. Structure your routines, observe your reactions, and anticipate the impulses that seek to undermine autonomy. Internal control ensures that no external force can dictate the actions of your throne. Recognize that mastery of self is a precondition to mastery over circumstance. Without it, influence will always determine the trajectory of your decisions. Your mind is a strategic battlefield. Organize, patrol, and maintain dominance. Let clarity be your signal, awareness your walls, and self-command your armor. Every interaction, every distraction, every subtle suggestion is an operation designed to breach defenses. Identify them, assess them, and respond deliberately. Each moment of hesitation allows invaders to claim ground. Train yourself to recognize the difference between external pressure and internal choice. Respond with intention, not impulse, and turn potential compromise into an opportunity to reinforce dominion. Discipline is the lifeblood of your kingdom. Observe thoughts with the precision of a general inspecting troops. Prioritize actions that advance sovereignty and neutralize impulses that yield to external control. When faced with persuasion, pause before committing. When confronted with social pressure, measure before conceding. Every decision is a tactical engagement, every refusal a defensive maneuver, every assertion of will an expansion of territory. Awareness converts the battlefield into controlled territory, transforming vulnerability into strength. The throne demands vigilance. Attackers are subtle and persistent, often masquerading as opportunity or advice. Failure to monitor them allows encroachment upon your freedom. Defend mental gates with intention. Reassert control regularly. Every unguarded moment is a potential defeat. Every practiced routine is reinforcement of authority. Conduct mental audits daily, question your own compliance, and recalibrate influence to serve your objectives. Sovereignty is neither accidental nor passive. It is the result of continuous command. Command your soldiers, defend the gates, wear the crown. Every thought aligned, every impulse assessed, every influence measured, builds the fortress of the mind. Victory in this inner war enables clarity in all external engagements. Influence becomes a tool, not a master. Power is reclaimed not through aggression toward others, but through unwavering discipline toward oneself. Reinforce the principle. Your mind is your kingdom, your attention the army, your choices the crown. Guard, patrol, and command relentlessly. The external world may wage war, but it cannot claim victory unless you allow it. Sovereignty begins with deliberate control, sustained awareness, and decisive action. Strengthen your inner throne every day. I rule, I endure, I am unshakable. The morning is the first battlefield of your day, and dominance here dictates every engagement that follows. As the sun rises, so does the war within. Your first thoughts are scouts sent ahead by either your discipline or by the chaos of distraction. Every notification, every news alert, every unplanned interaction is an enemy probe, seeking to claim ground before you have organized your defenses. Treat the first hour as decisive. It sets the tone, the tempo, and the strategy for the day ahead. Habits are your weapons, and routines are your formations. Launch each morning with purpose, or surrender its territory before it even begins. Dawn's first strike is your opening maneuver. The moments immediately after waking define mental fortitude, framing your capacity for clarity, focus, and resilience. Begin with intention, hydration, movement, reflection. Each action reinforces discipline and strengthens your inner command. Ipping this preparation is like sending unarmed soldiers into an ambush. Your mental army must be armed with strategy, fueled by energy, and guided by clear objectives. These first decisive moves condition the mind for battles yet to come, ensuring that external pressures meet a prepared rather than reactive mind. Enemy infiltration is constant, subtle, and aggressive. Social media, instant messages, and background chatter are scouts, probing for weak points. They test attention, stir emotion, and redirect focus. Detect them before they breach the perimeter. Silence notifications, schedule engagement, and prioritize tasks that advance your objectives rather than those dictated by external agendas. When a colleague attempts to rush a decision early in the day, observe calmly, assess the situation, and respond with measured authority. Weak, yielding to urgency. Strong, maintaining control, setting boundaries, and executing decisions on your own terms. This micro-example illustrates that even minor confrontations can be neutralized with disciplined leadership. Victory rituals consolidate control. Strategic routines act as fortifications, training the mind to anticipate challenges and respond with precision. Journaling, planning, movement, and reflection are not passive habits. They are maneuvers designed to secure territory and reinforce sovereignty. Repetition fortifies neural pathways, creating reflexive resilience and proactive engagement. Each day becomes a controlled conquest, a sequence of deliberate choices rather than reactive responses. Fail to ritualize, and the enemy seizes openings. Enforce rituals, and the day bends to your command. Your throne is established with every intentional action, every measured thought, and every controlled response. Guard it with focus, discipline, and foresight. Reject distractions that erode attention and reclaim territory whither never it is threatened. Early victories compound. A disciplined morning yields decisive afternoons, and calm mastery of your schedule reinforces psychological authority. Awareness is your armor, preparation your strategy, and execution your power. Treat every sunrise as an opportunity to assert dominance over your mind, and by extension, over the day itself. Command your first hour like a general inspecting troops, ensuring every unit is aligned, every tactic rehearsed, every vulnerability addressed. The day's outcome hinges on these early maneuvers. Recognize that energy, focus, and intent are finite resources. Allocate them deliberately. Resist the temptation to respond immediately to every call or alert. Instead, dictate the pace, anticipate threats, and act with precision. Your internal sovereignty allows external mastery. Each controlled morning strengthens the fortress of your mind, transforming potential chaos into orchestrated influence. The battlefield of dawn is where victory is claimed or ceded. Engage with clarity, discipline, and strategic intent. Neutralize scouts before they spread confusion, execute habits that reinforce strength, and measure every reaction against the overarching objective of control. Every choice, no matter how small, contributes to the fortification of your day. Discipline at first light ensures resilience through every encounter, turning ordinary hours into deliberate, controlled advances. Seize the morning with calculated authority, deploy rituals, maintain awareness, and direct your attention as if commanding an army into the field. Each early maneuver strengthens mental fortitude, ensuring that no intrusion can compromise your sovereignty. Master these hours, and you master the day. I strike first, I endure, I prevail. Silence is not absence. It is a weapon forged in patience, sharpened by focus, and wielded by those who understand that action without observation is wasted energy. The world rushes forward, consumed by noise, reactions, and impulsive responses. The predator waits, still and culling, eyes fixed, mind surveying the terrain. Every pause is an advantage, a moment to assess strength, weakness, and opportunity. Do not mistake inaction for indecision. It is preparation. Each moment of quiet sharpens perception, clarifies intent, and positions you to act with precision that overwhelms those who move blindly. The predator's pause is the foundation of mastery. Before engaging, you must observe, internalize, and process. Silence allows you to detect patterns, anticipate maneuvers, and discern the unseen. A colleague might push for immediate agreement on a complex decision. Observe calmly, listen fully, analyze motives, then respond with deliberate authority. Weak, speaking first without assessment. Strong, listening, measuring, and striking mentally before words leave your lips. This restraint projects confidence and preserves influence. Observation becomes your artillery. Mapping the terrain, noting reactions, and predicting intentions turns passive watching into strategic advantage. Influence cannot be countered when you react emotionally or hastily. It is neutralized when you anticipate and intercept. Treat interactions like reconnaissance missions. Gather data, identify vulnerabilities, and maintain distance until conditions favor engagement. This mental positioning is more powerful than any overt action. Every insight gained through quiet observation compounds, building a foundation from which calculated moves dominate outcomes. Calculated retaliation replaces reactive impulse. Rash responses scatter energy, dissipate authority, and signal vulnerability. Choose precisely when and how to deploy your strength. Small, measured responses disarm aggression and assert control without unnecessary conflict. Treat each action as a chess move, deliberate, strategic, and decisive. Understand that restraint often communicates more power than immediate engagement. The art of stillness is mastery over timing, transforming patience into leverage. Every environment becomes a hunting ground for those who master stillness. Chaos, distraction, and impulsivity are the weapons of the untrained. By contrast, deliberate observation allows you to identify weak points, anticipate pressure, and strike decisively when opportunity aligns with intent. Routine reflection and disciplined attention to detail reinforce this mental armor. Your power grows not from constant action, but from judicious, intentional deployment of energy. Internalize the predator's mindset daily. Begin by observing patterns of thought, emotion, and interaction within your personal domain. Recognize when impulses arise and resist automatic reactions. Map intentions, anticipate challenges, and plan responses as a commander arranges forces before a siege. Each choice, each pause, and each controlled action compounds into strategic dominance. Do not underestimate the leverage of stillness. It multiplies clarity, conserves energy, and amplifies influence. Your mind is the throne, your observation the artillery, and your restraint the sword. Wield these tools with precision, timing, and foresight. The world's chaos cannot penetrate a mind fortified by quiet mastery. Act with calm decisiveness, strike with intention, and let silence amplify your authority. Every delay is not weakness, but preparation. Every measured action is dominance made visible. Master the art of stillness, and the battlefield bends to your strategic will. I wait, I watch, I strike. Influence cannot flourish in a cluttered field. The throne is surrounded not only by allies, but also by those who quietly erode authority. To secure your domain, you must identify weaknesses and remove them before they metastasize into threats. Distractions, toxic individuals, and destructive habits are enemies in disguise. They drain focus, undermine decision-making, and fragment cohesion. Recognize who saps energy, spreads doubt, or manipulates outcomes for personal gain. Exposure. Re is the first strike in this campaign. Observe patterns, note inconsistencies, and track repeated betrayals. Awareness is the precursor to action. Half measures embolden interference, signal weakness, and invite further disruption. The strategic purge is decisive. Once a weak link is identified, act swiftly and conclusively. Lingering tolerance allows influence to erode gradually. Communicate boundaries clearly if appropriate, but avoid ambiguity. In professional or personal settings, one colleague repeatedly undermined meetings by sowing doubt. The response was measured but firm. Responsibilities were reallocated, accountability enforced, and access limited. Weak. Addressing incidents reactively without structural change. Strong. Identifying the systemic vulnerability, removing it, and reinforcing the environment. Every elimination is a reinforcement of sovereignty, a clearing of the battlefield for strategic thought. Solitude amplifies power. Once distractions are removed, the mind gains space for deliberate planning. Influence thrives when attention is undivided and energy conserved. Isolation is not withdrawal but consolidation. It permits reflection, prioritization, and the formulation of strategy free from external distortion. Habits that waste time, mental clutter, and relationships that provoke conflict must be curtailed. These removals are not punitive, but tactical. Each action strengthens boundaries, clarifies priorities, and heightens operational efficiency. A cleared battlefield allows the mind to focus on advancing influence rather than defending against preventable attacks. Every choice should reinforce clarity. Limit exposure to repetitive negativity and chaos. Observe who aligns with long-term objectives and who repeatedly undermines cohesion. Trust must be earned and the space around you curated. Discard indulgences and influences that dilute purpose. The strongest leaders understand that selective engagement protects resources and preserves authority. Energy is finite. Strategic conservation is necessary for sustained dominance. Prioritize relationships and commitments that fortify vision and eliminate those that hinder progress. This requires courage, precision, and an unwavering commitment to self-governance. Implementing these principles daily transforms the environment. Mornings spent reflecting on priorities, interactions analyzed for alignment, and decisions filtered through strategic criteria cultivate an uncluttered domain. Each intervention, each boundary set, reinforces psychological sovereignty. Influence is maximized not by accumulation, but by elimination, by removing weak links, conserving attention, and focusing execution on objectives that matter. Your control grows as the battlefield becomes disciplined, orderly, and predictable. Strategy emerges from the cleared space, and clarity guides every move. The throne is strongest when threats are neutralized and focus remains unbroken. Recognize, remove, and fortify. The quiet, deliberate action of elimination establishes unassailable influence. Respect is preserved, energy conserved, and authority reinforced. The field is yours when distractions are purged, toxic elements excised, and attention concentrated on meaningful engagement. Solitude does not isolate. It empowers. It allows you to advance decisively, free from interference, prepared to execute with precision. Command your environment as you command yourself. I will move to rise. Presence is a weapon sharper than words. Commanding influence begins before a syllable is spoken. Every gesture, every posture, every glance communicates authority in ways that speech cannot replicate. Silent signals operate like scouts on a battlefield. They survey, they warn, they assert dominance without a single shot fired. Stand with grounded posture, shoulders back, spine straight. Let your gaze scan decisively, meeting eyes without aggression, but with unshakable steadiness. Tone matters. Mia, assured, deliberate and controlled. Each pause between words is a drumbeat of command. The field reacts not to noise but to certainty. A controlled persona is the throne within. Every emotion, every movement, every micro-expression functions as a chess piece. Deploy them with care. A nod can signal approval. A silent pause can redirect focus. A measured smile can disarm tension. One executive repeatedly challenged meeting agendas, questioning strategy with subtle skepticism. Responding with composed affirmation, redirecting the discussion without confrontation, and maintaining eye contact communicated authority more effectively than arguments ever could. Weak, responding defensively and escalating tension. Strong, maintaining composure, redirecting the energy, reinforcing strategic control. Subtlety is power. The fear advantage is quiet, yet palpable. Influence is enhanced when others anticipate consequences without overt coercion. Lean into controlled intensity. A firm stance, unwavering eye contact, and calm cadence convey the ability to act decisively. Observe reactions, calibrate presence, adjust only when necessary. Respect is earned through constancy, not intimidation. Do not confuse fear with panic. The goal is obedience without resentment. Confidence must be apparent, but never gratuitous. Energy is conserved, decisions are clear, and the environment yields to steady authority. Your presence becomes a map others navigate carefully, adjusting behavior in alignment with your influence. Every interaction is a move in a larger campaign. Posture and gaze are your vanguard, emotion your cavalry, silence your artillery. Reinforce boundaries silently, assert control consistently, and let others infer power through observation rather than proclamation. Your influence is the sum of unspoken signals meticulously deployed. Guard composure, project certainty, and maintain conti. Roll over every micro-expression. This is the architecture of presence. Deliberate, disciplined, and undeniable. The field bends to those who master themselves first. Every meeting, every conversation, every observation becomes a reinforcement of sovereignty. Mastery of presence reduces friction, enhances compliance, and preserves energy for strategic initiatives. The throne is not claimed by loudness, but by the quiet assertion of competence and self-command. Strength emerges from a consistent display of disciplined presence, refined over time through conscious effort and observation. Command attention, maintain authority, project calculated intensity, and enforce boundaries silently. Every signal reinforces control, every gesture asserts strategic placement, every pause amplifies authority. Influence thrives not in speech, but in the projection of self as an unyielding force. Power is internalized, presence is weaponized, and respect is commanded without conflict. I command through presence. Doubt is a silent assassin, lying in wait to undermine every move you make. Recognize it as a hidden adversary, not a guide. The mind is a battlefield where hesitation and fear are insurgents seeking to erode influence from within. Engage in a shadow duel. Confront every whisper of uncertainty with clarity and precision. Observe the patterns of self-sabotage, catalog recurring fears, and treat them as actionable intelligence. Strike first, preemptively neutralizing doubts before they gain ground. Rituals reinforce control. Morning affirmations anchor confidence. Mental drills sharpen decision-making, and visualization exercises prepare you for confrontation before it arrives. Each thought is a potential strike. Counter it decisively. Mental assassination is ongoing. Fear, hesitation, and indecision must be consistently removed. leaving a mind honed into a weapon of precision. Treat distractions and lingering anxieties as targets on a map. Address each systematically. One manager, plagued by hesitation before critical presentations, began rehearsing outcomes in isolation, monitoring posture, tone, and phrasing. When a colleague questioned her approach during a strategy session, she responded with calm authority, redirecting the discussion without defensiveness, neutralizing doubt both externally and internally. Weak, reacting impulsively to criticism, allowing uncertainty to spread. Strong, maintain composure, reaffirm strategy, and convert pressure into mastery. A disciplined mind treats uncertainty as reconnaissance, gathering data, then acting decisively to eliminate threats. Self-reflection is a weapon when wielded correctly, a trap when idle. Establish mental checkpoints daily, review progress, and strike at recurring doubts before they metastasize. Each victory over hesitation strengthens cognitive resilience, reinforcing a pattern of assertive, confident action. Observe every intrusive thought, label it, and dismantle it systematically. Controlled repetition converts hesitation into certainty, fear into vigilance, and doubt into actionable insight. Your internal battlefield becomes a domain of strategic clarity where every decision is executed with precision. Confidence is trained through conscious effort, with every mental drill reinforcing sovereignty over thought. Influence is amplified when internal saboteurs are neutralized. Only then can presence, posture, and communication resonate without interference. Guard the mind as you would a fortress. Patrol its walls, inspect its gates, and eliminate vulnerabilities without mercy. The psyche, once disciplined, becomes a weapon more formidable than any external tool or tactic. Mastery over self-doubt ensures that hesitation cannot infiltrate actions or decisions. Each day, enforce mental drills, confront shadows proactively, and purge lingering uncertainties. Your mind becomes both shield and blade, allowing strategy and influence to operate unimpeded. Confidence, once internalized, radiates outward, commanding respect and reinforcing authority. Never leave doubt unchallenged. Eradicate it with deliberate action, sharpened focus, and unwavering commitment. The battlefield within dictates every engagement without. Secure it relentlessly. I strike first within. Hunger drives the wolf, relentless and focused, and so too must your ambition. Desire is raw energy. It flows where attention is given and dissipates where it is wasted. Recognize that every distraction dilutes potency. Every indulgence saps the force you could wield strategically. Feed the wolf with intention. Channel effort toward mastery, toward projects that expand influence and sharpen skill. Starve weakness by denying excess. Social noise, superficial gratifications, idle chatter, all dilute the energy necessary for decisive action. Controlled restraint is as powerful as bold action. Both are instruments of leverage. Calculate aggression carefully. Deploy energy precisely in negotiations, in conversations, in environments where influence multiplies rather than disperses. Observe the dynamics of each interaction, identify leverage points, and strike where impact is amplified. One executive, faced with a competitive team meeting, concentrated energy on a few critical arguments rather than addressing every minor objection. The result was unchallenged authority and outcomes aligned with objectives. Weak, overextending effort across trivial matters, scattering influence. Strong, concentrate force, maximize effect, let minor resistance pass unengaged. Hunger without discipline becomes chaos. Discipline without hunger yields stagnation. Track energy as a resource, investing it where returns compound over time, ignoring anything that offers temporary satisfaction without strategic gain. Your presence, words, and actions become weapons when guided by intent and fueled by focus. Avoid the trap of reactive engagement. Proactive allocation of energy establishes dominance in social, professional, and intellectual arenas. Feed curiosity, ambition, and skill deliberately. Starve distraction, procrastination, and fear. Each decision is a maneuver on the battlefield of influence. Measure the potential impact, strike with precision, and consolidate gains. Momentum is generated by repeated, disciplined application of energy toward meaningful objectives. Guard against overindulgence in comfort, attention, or approval. These are subtle predators that weaken resolve. Strategic leverage arises when desire is harnessed, weakness suppressed, and action directed with unerring intent. Treat every opportunity as a terrain to occupy decisively, every interaction as a chance to advance position, and every challenge as a field to test readiness. The wolf thrives not on chaos, but on controlled hunger, calculated aggression, and relentless pursuit of the objective. Maintain clarity, focus, and economy of action. Let energy be concentrated like a blade, cutting through resistance and opposition. Each day, feed what matters, starve what distracts, and deploy force where influence can multiply. Self-discipline transforms desire into authority, hunger into power, and focus into unassailable leverage. The strategic mind understands that influence is earned by the deliberate application of concentrated effort. Weakness is neutralized not by confrontation, but by absence. Presence is amplified not by noise, but by measured action. Let every decision reflect calculated intent, every effort reinforce dominance, and every restraint safeguard energy for decisive maneuvers. Discipline and desire combined create a force beyond ordinary perception, a presence that commands attention without overt coercion. Your internal wolf dictates the scope and precision of external influence. Feed it wisely, starve what dilutes, and strike where impact is greatest. Momentum builds as energy compounds, as mastery grows and as leverage converts intention into tangible authority. Feed the wolf, strike with precision. Every move you make is visible to those who watch and anticipate. Life rewards the strategist who sees 3 steps ahead. Treat every interaction, every alliance, every conversation as a piece on a chessboard, each with unique power and potential. Opening gambits are critical. First impressions anchor perception. The energy you project establishes the tone for all subsequent engagements. Approach every introduction with deliberate intent. Speak with clarity, maintain posture, and signal competence. These early maneuvers frame the expectations others hold of you. Choose initial positions that maximize flexibility, ensuring options remain open as circumstances shift. The mid-game tests adaptability. Circumstances evolve, alliances form and dissolve, and influence can pivot like a knight navigating an intricate battlefield. Maintain mental agility. Adjust tactics while keeping core objectives intact. Observe patterns and anticipate reactions before committing to visible moves. A leader in a collaborative project, confronted with competing suggestions, allocates attention strategically, validating input without surrendering initiative, ensuring authority remains unchallenged. Weak, react impulsively, absorbing distractions. Strong, filter selectively, act decisively, control the tempo. Endgame mastery demands foresight and patience. Every sacrifice, every calculated concession serves a broader strategy of dominance and mental sovereignty. Recognize when yielding a minor advantage secures a long-term position. Preserve resources, maintain composure, and anticipate counterplay. Visualize the sequence of moves that lead to desired outcomes, aligning effort with influence maximization. Control is seldom abrupt. It accumulates quietly through strategic positioning and measured decisions. Protect intellectual space, guard emotional equilibrium, and execute with precision. Influence. Nice expands when every action is intentional, every engagement planned, and every response measured. Map interactions like pieces on a chessboard, understanding relative strength, potential leverage, and timing. Avoid impulsive capture of trivial gains. Such moves can weaken overall position. Balance aggression with patience, visibility with subtlety, presence with restraint. Apply strategic pressure, exploit openings, and neutralize threats without unnecessary confrontation. Success favors the disciplined mind, the one that anticipates consequences before acting. Every conversation becomes a maneuver, every relationship a calculated alignment, every decision an assertion of authority. Build positions that compound influence, converting small advantages into unassailable control. Let openings secure flexibility, mid-game maintain initiative, and endgame consolidate mastery. Maintain the rhythm of observation, calculation, and precise action. Each decision reflects deliberate intent. Each response shapes perception, and each restraint preserves strength. Influence is less about force and more about positioning. It is a mental dominion enacted through calculated foresight. Lead with clarity, anticipate resistance, and orchestrate outcomes as a grandmaster maneuvers pieces toward checkmate. Anticipate every move, command every board. Discipline is the forge of power. Without daily ritual, ambition falters and influence decays. Treat your mind as a fortress and your will as its unbreakable walls. Daily discipline shapes steel from routine. Each deliberate action, each small victory, compounds into a mental bulwark, capable of withstanding storms of doubt and distraction. Wake early. Execute tasks with precision. Honor commitments to yourself first. Let consistency become your weapon, sharpening resolve with repetition until hesitation is eliminated. Resistance training tempers the mind like tempered steel. Seek discomfort deliberately. Challenging conversations, high-stakes decisions, physical strain. Embrace moments that push boundaries, for they reveal the cracks in character and reinforce strength when endured. Exposure to adversity hones patience, endurance, and mental resilience. When disagreement arises, hold your stance calmly, acknowledge valid points without surrendering authority, and guide the interaction toward rational outcomes. Weak, react emotionally, surrender ground. Strong, remain composed, assert principles, redirect energy strategically. Immutable focus transforms will into mastery. Guard attention like a predator guarding territory. Remove distractions, prioritize the high-value engagements, and execute each action with deliberate intent. Influence is amplified when aligned with unwavering mental clarity. Every move becomes strategic, every interaction an assertion of command. Visualize your objectives, rehearse discipline daily, and convert persistence into unassailable power. Let setbacks serve as training, not defeat. Endure repetition without complaint. Repeat small victories without arrogance, and consolidate gains consistently. Mental sovereignty arises when routine solidifies into habit, and habit crystallizes into unyielding authority. Surround yourself with minimal noise, focus on key relationships, and execute plans with precision. Strength is not demonstrated in comfort, but proven through endurance, consistency, and strategic patience. Cultivate rituals that reinforce resolve, morning reflection, task prioritization, incremental progress. Maintain composure in the face of challenge, for the iron will is not reactive, it is anticipatory, prepared, and disciplined. Recognize that mastery over oneself precedes mastery over others. Command energy, guard attention, and apply effort where it multiplies influence. Build momentum steadily, convert repetition into instinct, and maintain control through deliberate engagement. Your mind becomes a throne, your will, the unshakable guard. Every action, every thought, every choice reinforces the fortress of your character. Forge your will, command your world. True influence is achieved when no one can shake your position, no manipulation penetrates your defenses, and no fear dictates your choices. Build psychological armor that renders flattery, coercion, and intimidation powerless. Treat every interaction as a test of resolve. Let insults slide off you. Let praise inform but not dictate. And let pressure reveal weakness in others, never in yourself. Stand tall, as if every room is a battlefield, and your mind the unbreachable fortress. Presence of command emerges when your confidence is visible yet measured, when silence weighs heavier than speech, when your actions convey authority more effectively than words. Let your gaze, posture, and deliberate motion communicate control. The battlefield bends to those who appear unshakable. Invisible power is the domain of the Shadow General. Operate without announcing intentions. Influence outcomes from positions others fail to notice. Let plans unfold quietly, each action precise, each decision calculated, each consequence anticipated. Maintain discretion in alliances, control in negotiation, and mastery over perception. When disagreement surfaces, confront it calmly, assert your principles without anger, and redirect the dialogue toward rational resolution. Weak, react defensively, surrender authority. Strong, hold composure, reinforce boundaries, influence subtly. Strategic patience amplifies your authority. Those who chase recognition expose themselves to influence, while those who cultivate silent command achieve untouchable status. Guard your energy, filter distractions, and prioritize engagements that matter. Let repetition, self-discipline, and vigilance solidify your throne. Understand that untouchable influence requires internal fortitude more than external displays. Build routines that reinforce resilience, mental clarity, and foresight. Test yourself deliberately, endure discomfort, challenge assumptions, confront fears. Each exercise hardens will, sharpens perception, and strengthens control. Align your presence, your actions, and your decisions with your long-term objectives. Measure responses, calibrate reactions, and maintain focus on strategic outcomes. Let the invisible threads of influence shape reality, not chaos or emotion. Command through preparation, confidence, and silent authority. Reinforce your psychological armor daily. Cultivate a presence that inspires respect without intimidation, and exercise power in ways unseen yet undeniable. Influence secured internally radiates externally. The throne you occupy is sustained by self-mastery, unwavering discipline, and invisible, deliberate action. Every choice, every observation, every decision strengthens your imperviousness. Rise untouchable, rule unseen. True mastery is not given. It is claimed through relentless integration of mind, will, routine, presence, and strategy. You are both predator and king, hunter and chessmaster, weaving control through every dimension of thought and action. Begin by fusing your internal forces. Discipline in habit becomes the steel of your resolve. Clarity of mind sharpens perception into a tactical weapon, and presence amplifies every action into an assertion of authority. Let daily routines anchor you, each repetition a battlement in the fortress of self-mastery. Treat every decision as a calculated strike. Anticipate reactions, measure consequences, and execute with precision. Strategic omnipresence requires your awareness to extend beyond immediate perception. Observe interactions subtly, discern undercurrents, and map connections as a general surveys the battlefield. Your influence expands invisibly, shaping outcomes before resistance arises. Position yourself where insight informs action, and action asserts dominance. The final form is the synthesis of all preceding mastery. Power internalized, decisions proactive, influence self-sustaining. Battle transforms into orchestration. You no longer react but dictate. Let this transformation be visible in demeanor, in measured speech, and in the rhythm of your daily motions. Operate without announcing intentions. Your authority resonates silently. When disagreement arises, confront it with calm clarity, asserting boundaries without aggression and redirecting focus toward collective goals. Weak, concede under pressure. Strong, maintain composure, enforce limits, guide dialogue strategically. Let every interaction refine your tactics, every challenge test your readiness, and every observation expand your map of control. Engage opponents with restraint, observing patterns rather than impulses, and choose intervention deliberately. Guarding your energy as a predator conserves strength for the decisive strike. Embed reflection into action, review outcomes critically, and adjust strategy continuously. The throne you occupy is psychological as much as visible. Fortify it with vigilance, consistency, and unshakable self-command. Influence achieved externally is temporary without internal consolidation. Make every habit, thought, and gesture a reinforcement of your sovereignty. Prioritize clarity over impulse, preparation over reaction, and foresight over improvisation. Let your presence signal command without coercion, and let your moves dictate outcomes without confrontation. Mastery is iterative. Train perception, enforce discipline, and cultivate patience. Internal power radiates outward, bending circumstances to your design. Allow no element to operate unchecked. Integrate observation, judgment, and execution into a single, fluid mechanism. Treat every challenge as a rehearsal for greater control. Each interaction is an opportunity to refine strategy. Operate as the apex predator of influence, seeing multiple moves ahead, anticipating the flow of human behavior, and executing decisions with unwavering precision. Your authority becomes inherent, your strategy seamless, your presence undeniable yet discreet. Let repetition, reflection, and deliberate action solidify your command. Rise above chaos, bend situations without strain, and move with the inevitability of mastery. Let every calculated action reinforce dominance, and every silent observation inform intervention. This is the final synthesis, a mind, body, and presence aligned into unstoppable influence. I am the apex. All moves bend to me. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Every day you rehearse vigilance as though guarding a fortress, each moment a battlement against distraction and manipulation. Observe every interaction with precision. The human mind is a battlefield, and insight is your sharpest weapon. Build internal discipline as a general drills troops, each repetition fortifying your resolve and reinforcing the boundaries that make influence unassailable. Approach life as a chessboard. Anticipate moves before they unfold. Position yourself where your presence commands respect and let strategy guide every decision. When disagreement arises, maintain composure, listen fully, then redirect the course calmly, asserting authority without aggression. Weak. React impulsively to challenge. Strong. Measure, respond, and guide outcomes decisively. Internalize routines that sharpen attention, strengthen decision-making, and enhance strategic awareness, embedding them until reflex aligns with intent. Let your presence radiate control quietly. Authority must be evident without declaration. Forge your mind into an instrument of foresight, blending patience with calculated action, and let each step reinforce your sovereignty. The mantra you carry is not a phrase, but a state of being, internalized through repetition and deliberate practice. Enforce these principles daily. Review your actions, assess, impact, adjust tactics, and maintain relentless focus on the goals you set. Influence becomes inseparable from identity when every thought, habit, and gesture reinforces mastery. Operate as the apex in every sphere, unseen yet undeniably central, guiding the flow of circumstances with calm precision. Presence without tension is more commanding than force. Your calm signals unshakable authority and frames interactions according to strategic intent. Protect energy as a commander conserves forces before engagement. Act decisively where necessary and withdraw where strategy dictates. Every interaction is both training and application. Observe, learn, and adjust without hesitation. Let internal discipline shape external reality. Each ritual, from reflection to execution, is a reinforcement of your psychological throne. Your legacy is built on persistence. Daily enforcement ensures respect, freedom, and influence that cannot be undermined by fleeting opposition. Make strategy habitual, presence automatic, and authority inherent. Maintain consistency. Chaos in routine signals vulnerability, while steady execution consolidates power and earns enduring regard. Let influence ripple outward naturally, grounded in competence, composure, and strategic foresight. This is your practice, your war, and your throne, constructed meticulously through conscious effort. Your mantra anchors identity and sovereignty. I am the throne, the shadow, the storm. I endure. I command. I am untouchable.